Third. We're gonna go ahead and load on into it. It's Cafe. This is Oxygen's map pick. And we'll have the ban phase. Go ahead and start on out.
Hey man, that's Ace. DZ bans Ace, an operator that both teams used quite a lot of on a map like Cafe. We've seen how Ace can be applied to the bakery wall leading into kitchen. We've seen how Ace can be applied on the wall in red. We can see how Ace is applied on the freezer wall. On the back bar wall. He's gone, and so is Maverick, which means that we're actually going to go way back. This is the way back playback, Michael, where the operators that we see for Hard Breach are going to be Hibana or Thermite. It's been quite a while since they were the only two options available. The good news is for both of these teams, they have very capable Hibana and Thermite players. So they're not going to be handicapped too much in that regard, but if your strategies revolved around either the Blowtorch of Maverick or the Selmas of Ace, then obviously you are going to need to make a couple changes. Wamai and Valkyrie are banned out on defense. Mute was banned on the previous map, but Valk is a constant here from DarkZero, and Oxygen are very good at playing off of intel. It stands to reason that you'd take Valk out.
So this is interesting. DarkZero are actually the ones this time to ban out the map-specific, or rather preference operators. That's your Ace and your Valkyrie. They're banned by DarkZero. It's typically DarkZero to ban the statistically advantageous operators, but not so here. Maverick and Wamai are, in this case, direct counterbans to DarkZero. Now, keep in mind, Wamai is one of the top 2 most played operators for both of these teams on this map, and statistically, it works out equally for both of them. Wamai is just a really strong op here. He's good. Not having Wamai will completely change up the defensive strategy, as will having a Mira, as you see DarkZero bringing that Mira. That's great that the Mira is brought because it compensates for the lack of a Wamai. For those of you who are unaware, the spot next to Skies right now is actually called Pixel, and in Pixel, you typically put a shield, plenty of ADSs, and you'll play a Wamai there so he can juggle his magnets. But because Wamai is banned, you're not usually going to play in Pixel. You just can't without that clear utility. Or you can, but it's more dangerous. So to compensate for that, Mira is brought by Mint, and DarkZero will still have pressure from that angle, but it won't be as direct.
A lot of people have talked about Warden's resurgence as of late, and there's 2 big reasons for that. No, his gadget has not really changed. He's being brought because he has a 1.5 scope and he has a deployable shield. Ooh. Look at that. 3 ADSs, and if required, he just activates his little bloop gadget watch, his glasses, and he can see through whatever you throw at him. It's a very strong spot for Eclipse to be playing off of. And if need be, he can escape to the bathroom as well. But Eclipse is going in the opposite direction. He seems quite intent to take a fight over by the main doorway into Piano. Even be playing the angles down below, so that's where Vertical is.
That could be a strategic blunder there from Oxygen, or forced blunder by DZ, because I'm guessing Oxygen expected the pixel play to just not exist, but DZ has doubled down. They really want it there, even with the Thatcher in play. Thatcher can EMP directly above that spot and cause it to be a death sentence. We'll see how DZ plays it, of course. They're not committed to actually being in pixel. Right now, roam clear from Oxygen is their focus. They know that there are some roamers downstairs, specifically Mint here inside of Reading. He could do a lot of work from this position, but Vertical is on the hunt.
So, we're at almost the halfway mark, and DarkZero are invested in the second floor, as well as up top. It is a little bit strange to see Cocktails the very first bomb site, as it's fallen so far out of favor. Once Mint gets droned out, he's going to get flushed out by the Buck, and there you go. It looks like they're going to try to take the fight to him, but no, he gets caught in the crossfire from Skies. Well read. Vertical in punishes him. He manages to go under the sight of Skies, and Vertical does take out Mint, as there was a Nitro cell waiting on the wall, but they trade off operators. Foxy, I would argue, is significantly more impactful than where Mint was playing at. Vertical takes a lot of damage from his spot inside of Reading. He'll go on to drone. A minute left for things to calm ever so slightly before Oxygen are going to be able to put their foot back on the gas. They head into this map trailing, so obviously they're going to want a very strong start here on a map like Cafe, but they have the downside of starting on attack. 45 seconds left in the round.
Impacts from below. Hyper will eat a little bit of damage, but not enough for it to really matter. In fact, it won't matter. Vertical is on low HP, so he doesn't get more than he's already bargained for. Well, DZ are reassessing their defensive setup by breaking some mirror windows, or possibly it's Oxygen doing it from below. Either way, things are changing here on the site. Key to this round, though, is the time. Eclipse will take down Slash. Only 20 seconds for these attackers to put pressure on the top floor, and it doesn't really seem like that's happening right now. Diffuser at the top of White. Eclipse will shut him down through the smoke. That's a great use of the Warden gadget there. He'll get a second. No, misses the shot. Goes for the reload. Smoke expired. Skies gets one, and Hyper, the last. If it's not Warden picking up the frags, it's somebody else on DZ. A nice hold there as Oxygen attempted to push up from below.
I also do think as we can kind of dive into this Warden play. Number one, Gridlock is a very popular operator for OXG. Laxing loves running Gridlock. So you're going to see smokes on the board because that's the secondary gadget that most Gridlock players are going to bring.
Right.
If Ace is available, Ace is also going to be bringing smokes. Jackal also happens to be a very popular operator for OXG. So Warden doesn't just work in terms of his gun and his side gadget, which is that deployable shield, but he also effectively counters one of the best tools that OXG is consistently bringing, which is the smoke grenades on attack. You got to see it right there firsthand with Eclipse, who was able to fire through the smoke, and nobody knew he was playing behind that deployable shield, and he almost took down Laxing as well from that same spot, if I remember which operator it was correctly. So really good gadget usage from Warden against the Gridlock and against the smokes that went out. And, well, I mean, everything seemed to be working out in their favor, and DZ managed to do quite well on a bomb site that we don't really see defenders do all that great on recently.
Yeah, the top floor, as sites go, is falling somewhat out of favor. And I mean, if we take a look at the stats right now, it is still good in terms of defensive win rate. Statistically, it's at a 56% favor for the defense, which places it at the second best site overall, but it is being played far less. So the stats mean, I guess, less overall, even though Cafe has been played quite a lot. Your standard site right now is for sure the Kitchen, followed by Reading in the US division. And both of those are very good sites overall, even if you're looking at the stats. So right now, it will be the Reading defense for DarkZero. They're trying to keep it upstairs. They're also going to bring a Clash, which is a very interesting operator and one that is super annoying to deal with. So we'll see how Oxygen handles that one.
This is very off-brand for DarkZero to bring a shield, Michael. So this one's a total. This is a real U-turn for them.
For those of you who don't know, Mint is one of the preeminent shield players in...
I would say actually now that Pengu is not playing shields as regularly as he used to, I would say that Mint is probably the best shield player in the world at the moment.
Yes, he is up there. You could certainly say number one. He does play shields quite a lot, so yeah. At least we know that for sure. And I'm guessing he'll put a lot of use into this Clash.
That seems to be the place. He's playing inside of the humidor, watching red stairs, and Hyper is there to help him if required. Hyper gets droned out, and down goes Biologic to Hot and Cold on that first floor. I don't know if Bio is solo entering, but those EMPs will not be that effective at the moment. Eclipse is also upstairs, and he's got the cross after Mint had taken quite a beating, and the Clash will move out from their position. There goes Hyper, spotted from Laxing above. Hyper was playing over by the bottom of Skylight. Vertical now goes to Skies. All this action is happening somewhere else on the map. Our focus above is a beautiful shot from Skies, claims Slash. Diffuser drops inside of Engine. So Foxay and Laxing in a 4v2, which has now become a 3v2. There goes Skies, punished for his crimes. 4-1, he'll sit on the bench for the remainder of the round. 1 minute left, so Foxay and Laxing, last time they were in this position on Consulate, they won the round. Will they be able to repeat that same magic here?
Mint is still in play. Low HP, yes, but a Clash is a Clash, and he'll be gathering a lot of information as well as slowing down the attack when he spots it. Laxing and Foxay, though, they are known to win these, as you mentioned, Parker, so let's not count the attack out just yet. Be a drop on top red. Laxing trying to distract by dining to allow his teammate to position better. Tracks going out towards pillars. Default cam is up, and Laxing did not shoot it, so that'll be calling. It's called out by one of his teammates who's likely spectating him, and he'll go for the repeak to get the camera eventually. You can see the Malusi of Hot and Cold inside of Reading. He'll be trying to impact to deny this push-in. Nade gets the Malusi gadget, but there's only 15 seconds left. The push will have to come out here for Oxygen. They don't have a choice. The last smoke goes into the site. The drop from above is caught by Laxing. A beautiful frag there, and he'll start the plant. No C4, only impacts, and the read is incorrect. Here comes the plant, and it's all the way down as Foxay covers from above. It'll be the final kill for Laxing, and Oxygen will win the round 2v4, or rather 3 on the clutch.
They do it again!
Again,
a second time for Laxing and Foxay to turn the tides against their opponents. Impressive stuff from them to be able to make that work. It came in round number 5 of the very first map, but they do it on the second round here on Cafe. The Mozzie dropped thinking that they had Laxing caught, but no, and Hot and Cold's patience was a little bit too much as Foxay perfectly wrapped around. This is a bit strange, though, that default cam was up for as long as it was. They knew the positioning of OXG, but the same thing happened again. DZ was a little too patient. I know the strategy they were going for. Mint was going to try to slow them down and watch the flank while Hot and Cold was positioned, if the time hit 0, to be able to stop somebody planting default. Laxing very smartly doesn't plant default. He plants in the middle of the plume of smoke. And Hot and Cold doesn't bother to spray in that direction because he doesn't think that anybody would just plant exposed in the open that way. Doesn't work out for them. Mint gets caught from the back by Foxay, and a 3v2 very quickly becomes a 1v2. Troubling situation for DarkZero, who, like I said on Concept, were just too patient, and it ends up biting them. So, we'll go downstairs to kitchen. We'll see if, we'll see what'll happen with this hard breach system. Apologies for what appears to be going on the transmission. I think, are you seeing it as well, Michael?
The constant jump cutting?
Yeah, it's really, really choppy.
Yeah.
And this, it's Sao Paulo season 6 flashbacks.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah, that was the was that the first LAN we worked together in the first finals we did?
It's my first esports event ever, actually.
Oh wow, what a throwback! Oh,
yeah,
boy.
because Michael, I wasn't a nerd before then.
Wow, I mean, all right then. Early engagement for Hot and Cold. He'll get Foxnay, who just runs into the building. Not enough information there. Hot and Cold just pushed himself into Kochek to get that frag. That's it. And yeah, the choppiness will continue. But luckily, if you take a look at the top right, that appears to be on our production side. Because if it were on the server side, on the top right, you'd see flashing red marks, signifying that the server is struggling. So at least the players are not struggling right now. This should be working out fine for them. Or at least that's my assessment based on what we're seeing right now. So don't stress about that at least. Just worry about your own viewing experience. Eclipse is going to be challenging over towards the front door. He's got support from Hyper, but they will just mellow out for now, knowing they have the man advantage in play time.
You can hear those track stingers going off. What does she say? Sharper than a box jellyfish or something like that. Of course, very on brand for Australia, the land where every animal has health bars and tries to kill you. So looked like Laxing and Eclipse were going to engage, but Eclipse just manages to move around it. Nobody takes any damage here, and Eclipse is now going to watch towards the back as that small opening inside of the wall in the kitchen created by Slash gets flashed out. Vertical one for his team, Eclipse another. So they both manage to sacrifice bodies. Slash takes out Eclipse, and with Laxing by his side, they're looking for another play onto DZ. Down over by VIP. Hot and Cold inside of the bomb site. He sees the silhouette of the Ash of Vertical, and he looks the wrong way. The FMG should be able to do lots of damage, but Vertical holds off for now.
There is still time for this attack, but as they lose Vertical inside of Prep, that's going to really hurt their odds. Though Laxing will get mint, Hyper is also off site, so really it's on Hot and Cold to hold the site, and on Laxing to manage to work his way in. He knows there's one on red, addresses it, but misses the shot. The bar's working against Laxing there. Lots of HP lost as well. Sees the head and misses that shot as well. C4 will land, and DarkZero will take the round.
Yeah, pretty good stuff there, and honestly, you have to wonder how much of Foxay's early aggression comes back to hurt them, because a sledge can be so useful on that second floor, and you had no real soft destruction to think of. Yeah, you have the super shorty in the hands of Laxing, but Laxing is not usually playing that style. He's not going to be doing the soft destruction work. He's not going to be covering from that angle. Laxing is likely going to be off on somewhere on his own. He's going to be coming in for a late flank to catch you off guard and try to isolate anybody who is also off site, which is why he's playing this gridlock role. I mentioned it in the very first round when Warden was trotted out from DarkZero. and Laxing is going to continue to play Gridlock, because the F90 is a strong gun, and she's got a pretty decent kit, and synergizes well with the way that he plays, which is that lone wolf style, roam on his own, entry on his own, unsupported style of play. But Foxay coming in as Sledge, rushing through the door and dying for nothing. No trade, doesn't waste any time. That's rough, because if you look where the bomb site is, a Sledge is going to put a lot of focus on the dining room, which is where the A bomb site is right now. They're going to put a lot of focus on Train, which is to the left of the bomb site. So just down below that, there you go. And that's exactly what Sledge does, and it's going to make life very uncomfortable for the members of DarkZero that are playing in the bomb site, whether it be the smoke that we saw of Hot and Cold, who was nestled in there waiting for Vertical to push out. DZ wouldn't have been able to sit comfortably, and they would have had to get a bit restless, and they might have been pushed right into the line of sight of OXG. So that one kill alone was the first domino falling for OXG on that round.
This is looking like one of the most standard setups we've seen in a while. Of course, the mirror to augment is gonna make it ever so slightly different. But it's your really bog standard default setup on reading and dining. Just a cocktail roam upstairs, nothing else really. Mirror window to assist, and we'll see how Oxygen address this. I'm sure they'll have a refined execution plan for this site, just because we've seen it so many times set up in this way. Vertical going to be entering in through Cigar. Hyper looking to flank when the opportunity presents itself. Right now there is no flank. Gridlock, there is no flank. Drone. So Hyper does actually have an opportunity right now, whether he knows it or not. He's just not going for it just yet. He'll retreat back to the site, actually. Not going to go for it at all in the end, as the drone finally gets set up on the flank from Slash. Oxygen trying to clear the top floor still. Breach charges used to good effect to push out bathroom and back bar storage. They'll have to confront some reinforced walls, though, before they can actually address the roamers themselves, playing by pallets and in cocktail. That's Mint and Eclipse.
And Eclipse gets droned out, and right on the window is none other than the Sledge of Foxay. He's got grenades that might be able to prove their worth. Down goes Vertical, the opening pick for DZ yet again, and Mint playing off of this mirror window with an ADS in front of it and a mute jammer. Could prove to be a lot to work through for OXG. Slash would be the one to take care of it. They'd have to get rid of that mute jammer first. As the Thatcher had been on the board for OXG, his absence will hurt this team. Bio has switched off onto the Zofia for maybe some more destructive and disruption that could come with it. But what it also means is that Mint doesn't need to sweat anything. And that mirror window, unless there's any play from below, will likely stay in this spot no matter how good Slash is at his job with hard breach. So OXG have found themselves in a bit of a pickle here. Never discount their ability to frag, but the strategy that they're going to need to employ is particularly tough. There's a lot of confidence from Laxing as he seems to spot one over by the fireplace. Another kill from DZ comes in, and Laxing will get one. He twists and turns as DZ finds 2 kills to Laxing's single. This is a 4v2. Oh no. It's Foxay and Laxing yet again for OXG. The same numbers as before, but a lot less time. Only 30 seconds to go, and exposed to the mirror window is Laxing. He tries to take the engagement. Down he goes to Skies and Foxay. In a 1v4, looks like we might see the clock strike midnight. Foxay finds 1 kill, but with 10 seconds left, he's got 3 to go, and DZ will play the keep away game. Foxay inside of Laundry. He can't bother to get to it. Diffuser upstairs. He knows that. He has to go for kills. He's going to run right into the waiting arms of Skies. No miracle this time. 2 times a charm, but not the third. DZ tightens things up, and they're up 3-1.
Strategically, that round was really cut and dry. There really wasn't actually a lot to talk about. Essentially, what happened there was DarkZero roamed inside of Cocktail and by pallets up on the top floor, and they didn't retreat. Oxygen attempted to address those roamers upstairs and failed. Instead of fully clearing out the top floor, Oxygen rotated down to, I guess, clear horizontally on the middle floor and attempt to address the site directly. Actually, they didn't do great on that either. They left a Malusi by Red Hall, not a smoke, somebody playing inside of trains. There was a whole flank for Oxygen that they hadn't cleared out before executing onto the site. And all the while, they're trying to execute onto that site. Oxygen is losing man count. They're losing presence. They're also trying to push in through reading. It's just not working out. Well, all that said, don't forget, guys and gals, you can pick up the pro skins in the esports tab in the shop for Rainbow Six and directly support the teams as well as just Rainbow Six esports in general. And if you're tight on funds right now, don't forget as well, Veli is doing a giveaway for the TSM bundle. All you need to do to participate is use the hashtag R6NAL and tag R6 Esports NA with the stream link for this channel, and you can go ahead and enter into that giveaway if you should so choose. TSM bundle is one of the best ones, so I think it's definitely worth your time.
Not that we're playing favorites, of course. There are a couple in NA that I think look pretty nice, though SSG being on Ella actually did kind of confuse me because...
Me too.
I mean, Ella's not really played all that much anymore, unless they know something about the old Ella returning.
Oh gosh, I hope not. I really hope not.
Michael, it was a joke, Michael.
I know, but I don't even want to have that thought in my head, Parker.
Okay, my bad.
It's daunting and depressing.
I just want to let you know, though, by the way, that if you win Veli's giveaway, that you're also supporting a man who just shared a picture of eggnog on the Twitter feed. So you let that sit with your conscience, okay?
What? You don't like eggnog?
Eggnog is something that I go back and forth on, but as of this exact moment, it is dreadful gack. So
what a shot
from Vertical. By the way, the opposite of eggnog is he's great. Takes out Eclipse, and OXG get that opening pick on round number 5. Vertical will now go back onto drones, and it will force DZ to move one of their chess pieces over towards Christmas.
What if he likes eggnog, Parker? What if Vertical's into eggnog?
Well, then that's fine by me.
Fox A will get one, Vertical his second, and it looks like Oxygen is going for the, as you like to say, Parker, full court press. Mint will get one with the C4. Laxing shuts down Skies and backbar storage, and now it's all on Mint. He won't even get a second. Biologic shuts him down as he attempts to retake Palace, and Oxygen win it all on a straight walk into site execute.
So they made that round happen in a hurry, presumably because there was no sound present, and Oxygen is calling for a rehost. Now, Michael, if I may, with that round, I would like to actually turn to our analyst, Bacon. He happens to be the, I believe, the content manager for DarkZero, and he actually summed up that round roughly 40 minutes ago with a tweet that he made, and I can read it. OXD legit just throws bodies at people. And that's the whole round right there. So thank you very much, Bacon, for providing us with your world-class commentary for that particular round. Yes, we could clap for Bacon, just so that everybody knows that obviously he might not be a coach anymore, and he might not be as particularly hands-on with Rainbow Six, but at least he's still capable of predicting the future.
So is he the prognosticator in chief now, Parker?
He's something in chief, I'll tell you that much.
But yeah, no, he was right. That round was basically, you could sum up by just Oxygen, dump their utility in, push, won their gunfights. That is a great summary of that round, and it's actually been a summary of many of these rounds that we've been seeing from Oxygen on Consulate and now on Cafe. Oxygen are very good in that scenario, though. I think that's the one thing to keep in mind. I think Bacon maybe meant it as a slight critique, but when Oxygen is in that kind of scenario where it's throw bodies at the problem, they tend to synergize very well. They tend to frag out. They certainly did in that round. It got them the win that they wanted. So it is a part of Oxygen's play style, and it doesn't define them. They're plenty capable of doing other things. But when executed correctly, Oxygen can really turn that into a win, as they did just now. Now, we are trying to get everybody back into the lobby. We'll get started as soon as we can, but we're just on a short break here while everything gets sorted.
That round in particular is hard to break down because it was over before it started. Oxygen was attacking on a cocktail. It was the bomb site that we don't see used all that often. DZ won it on the very first round on a pretty well-structured hold that involved the Warden playing inside of Christmas or piano, depending on what you want to call it. I've unfortunately been listening to too much Stokes, which is always a problem.
What do you call it?
I call it piano. He calls it Christmas.
Yeah, my calls in piano are ticket for the minibar, Christmas where the tree is, piano or stage where the stage is, couches where the couches are, pixel in the corner, and then drop if they're somewhere like by the chairs in the drop.
Hold on a second. I'm looking where I asked. Oh, it's
Hey, you know what? We've got a lot of time to fill, and I'm just trying to
it's
be
not on
helpful.
here.
Just trying to educate masses.
It's on here. You know what would be really great if there was like a standardized.
I'm working on it.
Okay.
We're getting there.
We can. I mean, it's hard to break down that round in particular, so we can turn to our favorite stalling, which is what I talked about on Consulate, which is Chalet. We can talk about Chalet's possible entry to the competitive map pool. Do you think, Michael Stockley, that Chalet is a good enough map to be played over one of the maps that are currently in the map pool?
I think it could be. Yes. I don't know which map I would personally want to replace. Maybe
Consulate.
Maybe Coastline, maybe Consulate. Probably Coastline for North America, at least. It's one of the least played maps right now. Consulate is being played frequently, and I personally would like to get it out, but I don't know if the teams would agree with me on that one, so it's hard to say. Anyway, I think it's got a lot of depth. My assessment of Consulate, or sorry, got me saying it now. My assessment of Chalet is that it has not been fully explored yet, and that it, at first, really rubs the wrong way. I think it's an extremely different map, and my initial impression is negative, but I will say that many of the sites, there are some really fun and clever setups that you can bring out that will make attacking or defending different round by round. So since it has that depth, there is potential for it to be a comp map, because soon as a team starts exploring it and winning against other teams on it, it'll get further exploited by other teams and embraced by the competitive community. Though I don't know if that's going to happen because of the initial negative impression by not everyone, but many people.
Every new map is hated by the community right off the rip, because like everybody, when a new map shows up, you don't know it and you get farmed like a bot, and it hurts your feelings, your fifis, TM as they are referred to as, and then you don't like the map because you do poorly, because you don't know how to play it and you don't know what the whole idea behind it is, the whole synergy, you know, etc. So you don't know the flow of the map, you have some struggles, you don't like it. You know, I remember back in the day, I started casting when Coastline debuted. I started playing this game in Red Crow when Skyscraper showed up, and then shortly thereafter it was Bartlett, and then Coastline debuts with Velvet Shell. My first cast was during Velvet Shell. Not only did people really dislike Coastline, we were still at the period of time where people didn't like Border either. There was a period of time where people didn't like Border, and it took them a while to warm up to Border. It was right at the tail end. I do think that the addition of Favela and the addition of Skyscraper kind of made people like Border a little bit more. But there, at the time, then it took a while for Coastline to be seen as a map that people liked. And I remember lots of negative comments about Coastline as a map when we were casting the SI finals at the start of 2018. So it stands to reason that teams are going to take a little while to be able to warm up to it. I mean, Theme Park was a reviled map. I think the general consensus is with the reworked Theme Park is that it is significantly better. I am bummed that we don't see it get casted more. I would like to cast it more. But it's still getting a bit of time to warm up, or at least teams are taking some time to warm up to it. So I like Chalet. I will say this was very critical of the old Chalet. I hated the old Chalet, actually, and I hate the current Skyscraper. I am excited for the new Skyscraper. I don't know what it's going to look like. Wow. Okay. Speaking of, we'll turn our sights here now. Skies gets the leadoff pick onto Foxy. I like to think I gave him a little bit of magic here, because the first ace that I ever got when I was playing this game, Michael, was Capkin on Skyscraper. I was playing a hostage. It was like my second day ever playing the game. So you're welcome, Skies.
Yeah. Way to go, Skies.
Don't take this from me.
Harnessing Parker's energy.
Thank you for giving me credit for that. I need this.
So, with that leadoff frag, DZ are in the man advantage here, and they're poised to end this half 4-2 in favor. That's really good. It is what you'd expect from a defensive team on Cafe, of course. This map, so far through this stage 2 of the US division, has a 54% defensive win rate. So it's not as defender-sided as it used to be. You know, this used to be up in the 60%, even further sometimes. But it is still defender-sided ever so slightly. So DarkZero, happy with that result, I'm sure. Now, it's not done yet. as we've talked about, as long as... Oh, yeah, actually, I was going to say as long as Laxing is Foxay are still alive. But, okay, well, as long as Oxygen's got players on the board, there's always a chance.
As long as at least one of them is alive.
Yes. And Laxing has been statistically the, by far and away, top performer for Oxygen. So, yeah, keep an eye on him. Maybe he'll have a big round here.
Foxay has been maybe following Laxing in terms of kills and overshadowed by him, but I would say that Foxay's importance for the team has been much larger than Laxing. Laxing always does play this style of gameplay that we refer to as odd, lone wolf, whatever you want to call it, independent.
Lurker?
Lurker role, I think, is the best way of putting it. We don't call them lurkers, we call them roamers, but Laxing lurks whether he's roaming or not.
I would like to specify the distinction. There is a distinction between lurkers and roamers, but I'll get to that later. Right now, we got action.
Yeah, and 45 seconds left is the perfect time to see OXG try to attempt something here. Both Slash and Vertical were inside a freezer, and they'll be stopped cold in their tracks from none other than Mint. Kyle Lander with the UMP in hand takes out both of them. OXG with Bio and Laxing. Now, can Bio be the Foxay substitute for Laxing? Well, Laxing gets one pick. That's the very first one. It'll break the flawless round that DZ had going on. Bio taking some damage from what appeared to be the Warden playing over by VIP. Kyle will make his way out of freezer. Turns and twists, misses his shot on Sky. Sky started things off with a kill. He shuts down Bio, leaving Laxing with 10 seconds left. Impactless kills, maybe. We'll see. He gets trapped in the barbed wire on the stairs, and Eclipse finishes the job. The first half is in the books, and DZ's up 4-2. They're only 3 rounds away from being able to stop this match and give themselves a 2-0 victory.
All right, so that round started off really poor, as I'm sure you all will note, thanks to Parker's efforts, giving Skies the energy to spawn peek on bus stop window. After getting that kill, DZ in a good spot, they get a little bit patient, and Oxygen, what they're trying to do is clear out the building. They do that, top floor is cleared, job done, okay. Turn our focus now to executing on the site, and problems start to arise from there. DarkZero is very lethal when it comes to the engagements in that round, and most importantly, they were playing far back away from the point of focus for Oxygen. Oxygen wanted to get control of Freezer. They did that, but as they tried to push out of Freezer, not only were they losing their gunfights on that push because DZ was set up to meet them on the Freezer bottlenecks, that's the window and the door, but also, I mean, heck, Oxygen is hitting Capcan traps and losing chunks of HP as they attempt to run out of Freezer. So everything's going wrong there for Oxygen from the start to the finish. And yeah, DarkZero take the half quite handily. 4-2, great scoreline. Now Oxygen gets their defensive half, and this might be really good for them. We could see this go all the way to Oxygen winning out, but no need for OT. It's definitely possible, but we'll wait before we call that. We're not quite there yet. Oh, did you want to talk about roamers and lurkers, or?
I mean, it's a term that is used in a variety of different games. Lurkers are the role of somebody who's playing off on their own, not particularly engaged with their team. They lurk and wait. And I actually think they refer to them as lurkers in Brazil, by the way. I don't know if they call them roamers in Brazil, because I've seen a couple promotional videos where they definitely seem to call them lurkers. But for us, there is a distinction that is enough of a difference. And the difference is that you can roam but still be supporting your team, or at least be in a position where your team is supporting you. Lurking is usually a specific focus of a roamer, or a second entry, or a late entry, or a flank, etc.
Yeah.
So
for me, it's like usually... Go ahead.
I was going to say, very similar to loggers and pilsners. Not all roamers are lurkers, but all lurkers are roamers.
Okay. I mean, of course, except for the ones on attack.
Right. But I mean, you knew what I was. You knew what I was.
I know what you meant. I knew what you meant.
You knew what I meant.
So the glass is working.
Embarrass me on live TV.
Skies lands the nade onto Vertical, and he'll go down. His glasses can't save him from that. That's thanks to good clear there of the utility and a well-timed, well-cooked nade from Skies. So pixel control established for DZ. Mint will get into Cigar. Foxay is actually still in the Humidor. and he is spotted out. Min will do a lot of damage, and Hyper will finish him off. DZ is picking off one defender after another. This is working out very well for them so far, just taking all of the fights that are presented to them. And Oxygen are certainly struggling with this extension. A great pick there from Bio, though, as he catches Hyper on the cross. Bio and Oxygen really needed that one.
I think this is his third kill so far in this matchup, and it comes at a pretty good time. It's the first stab to the chest for DarkZero. They've got a couple more that they could potentially continue to find, as DarkZero will look to push in on this cocktail defense. 40 seconds remaining. Laxing down below. He's got a nitro cell. He's the only plant denial other than the Maestro cameras that's present on OXG's lineup. Hot and Cold is pretty adept at being able to get that diffuser down, so you have to imagine that there will be quite a lot of focus for OXG to try and stop that in its tracks. A second kill from Bio with Laxing finding the scoreboard, but Bio gets punished for it. Laxing down below in a 1v2, but he's got a nitro cell that's already been used, so he's not going to be able to put much to work. He'll have to ascend the stairs, and as a 3 armor, he'll make a ton of noise. The AUG dragged across the scene of the crime as the bomb will be, or the diffuser will be planted near the bomb for Hot and Cold. 1 HP, and he gets stopped in the back of the bar from Skies. 5 rounds on the board for DarkZero. They're only 2 away.
That was great execution there from DZ. Most of the success, I think, stems from those early picks that you guys all saw, and those nades, or the nade actually, into Pixel. Warden doesn't have nade resistance, unfortunately. And then the kill in the Humidor. I'm surprised that that kill actually came out there. Foxy was a little bit too aggressive. Obviously, he's trying to find an opportunity. That's why he's staying in the Humidor. The drop is open, so he can retreat whenever he wants to, but he just wants to get a refrag for his teammate who died by Pixel early in the round, and that causes him to linger just a little bit too long, and thus his team to languish. So 3v5 now, still winnable for Oxygen. Biologic is picking up frags. He's starting to get steam, and that's fantastic to see. But ultimately, DZ, when they put their foot down on the gas, they did not relent. And while we did see some impressive stuff from not only Biologic, but also Oxygen as a whole on that push into the site, it just wasn't enough in the end. DarkZero, they're getting very close to locking this series out much swifter than I think most would have forecasted.
Down to kitchen they'll go. And well, we're still in a position where Cafe is a defender-friendly map.
Yeah.
10 seconds to go.
It's very friendly. Very... Sorry, can I help? Can I help you?
5 seconds to go.
Greets you at the door with hot cocoa.
Mm-hmm. Lend me some sugar. I am your neighbor. That is Cafe personified.
I don't... is that a reference? Or... I don't...
Oh my goodness. Yes, that is a reference.
Didn't get that
Yeah,
one.
thank you. Even production said, oh my goodness, that you didn't get that one, Michael.
Is it like an old
It's from Outcast.
person reference?
Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, Michael, we'll discuss this offline. Anyway, there will be certain people in the audience who will get that, aka people who are old enough to remember that song. So
I'm sorry.
it was... God, that song was so long ago. Anyway. Oh man, Vertical gets pushed out of red as they sledge open the hatch, and then Vertical was going for a pick. He manages to disappear, and so now too does Laxing. Hyper's aggressive play will net another, and there is 50 seconds expired from this round, and it is Biologic in a 1v5. So this is the best opportunity for Bio to pad his stats here, and if he can't do that, then it'll be a flawless round for DZ. Bio will trudge back into kitchen, watching the freezer panel that had been opened earlier. DZ have all the time in the world to make this one happen. And they'll drone out Bio. Both Mint and Hot and Cold's drones will see him. Now Eclipse will have one in there, and so much information on Bio's position inside of the kitchen. He's gone. That's a flawless round. Match point DarkZero.
Well. So DarkZero clearing out the top 2 floors. What they want to do is open up above. This is standard fare. Oxygen attempt to roam, fail miserably, and lose their entire team. Remember, this is the flip side of the coin. Remember when Oxygen was throwing all their bodies up on the top floor? That round was the flip side of that coin. When Oxygen throws all their bodies at a problem and it doesn't work, complete catastrophe. So, yeah, nothing Bio could have done there. Not his fault. DarkZero now match point, series point as well. They're looking to go ahead and lock this one out. And yeah, we'll see if Oxygen can change the flow there. They're going to be bringing a Mute Mozzie to try and gather or deny the drones upstairs. They'll bring a Pulse to give themselves information. Pulse has been pretty prevalent throughout this series, not just on Cafe, but also on Consulate. So it's been a good tool for Oxygen so far. Hopefully, for Oxygen's sake and their fans' sake, it'll be a good tool in this round, because this is looking a lot more one-sided than Consulate did.
Well, back down to kitchen they go. Will it do anything? We don't really know. That was a swift one. It almost kind of feels like, since the rehost, Oxygen's effort in this matchup has faltered a little bit. It is for seeding purposes.
Yeah, but it's also like, you say, ooh, #1 in NA for Stage 2 of the US Division. Season 1.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. How well did that treat SSG at the mini-major?
Yeah, it's really all just...
That's not even intended as a burn. That's sincere. I mean,
it's true.
Michael, the #1 spot matters so much. Just look at Rogue and EU.
That's actually true, though. That's because that actually saved them, so...
Kind of.
Yeah. I mean,
also to our friends from Europe who are watching, or those from North America that didn't get to see the EU broadcast earlier today, the auto relegation spot in Europe was decided, and we had to say goodbye to Chaos Esports Club. Michael, I was notoriously hard on them for being a team that never seemed to meet their potential and always kind of inhabited that 5th, 6th, 7th place spot in Europe. And now, unfortunately, they went from bad to worse. And they got relegated today, and, well, Chaos will not be in the EU League next stage / next season, depending on how you quantify it.
Yeah, I mean, both are technically correct, so...
It's kind of a bummer, to be honest. I always liked casting Chaos. Renewals and Secretly are two of the oldest players in the scene in terms of experience, and, well, it's going to be weird to not see them.
It will certainly be, yeah. And, well, we'll see if they can bounce back, or what happens, what comes of those players moving forward.
Anyway,
right here,
we got a match to play here, yeah.
Yeah, we've got opening up from above for DZ. This time, Oxygen does not confront the roam clear. Instead, they are opting to focus on survival, playing their life, as players like to say. Skies will get Slash, so Slash not able to play his life in this round, and that's one of your key information gatherers gone, as well as a C4 and a formidable player. DZ is coming down to the last minute, but they've still got the man advantage. They've got the control above. They're opening up even more, and they seem slated to win this round. We'll see.
And no Spencer Oliver, the man so nice, they named him twice. Hot and Cold breaks into Freezer as they drop down a number of flashes. Hyper will cover as there goes yet another flash to try and stop maybe the Banshee gadgets. And Vertical takes the fight himself. 2 picks on the Hyper, and Hot and Cold pistol out. There was a third in his line of sight, but he'll have to fight for that as he sits on top of the diffuser and will force DZ to be aggressive to retake all that ground. Eclipse on Brownstairs. He finds one. There's another not too far off. He's going to need to look to the left as he gives his position away. If he can't draw him out, this will be tough. Wrong side of the wall. You're going to get snuck up on. There you go. Laxing grabs it in a second for him. OXG really coming alive at the moment. Skies, who'd killed Slash first, he gets shut down in Freezer, and OXG is going to prolong this match. There is a comeback possible. They're going to need to go perfect for the remainder of regulation as they're 3 rounds off of overtime. It's still match point for DZ and will be for the remainder of regulation.
Another great example of just throwing bodies at the problem. What really happened there? DZ lost control of their angles and allowed the push from Vertical to meet success. Got 3 kills in that round, just retaking into Freezer. Laxing, it's the same story. What's he doing, really? He creeps up on Whiskey Bar and gets 2 kills. Why? Once again, DarkZero lost control of their angles, not checking for every potential push, and they get punished by the ones that Oxygen pull out. So, as you said, prolonging the map. We could see this go to OT. Oxygen is certainly capable of bringing it all the way, but now Oxygen will have to go on to reading. No more kitchen to defend. We'll see how they fare here. They're not going to be bringing the Miro to this site. They're going to keep the Warden. Wonder if they'll be playing by Pixel. We'll see how they play this one. definitely going to be at least a cocktail roam as is standard on this site. They're already setting that up right now. Given that they're reinforcing the advanced back bar and bathroom walls instead of just the white hall walls, that suggests to me that they might try to delay further up west side on the top floor, though they are not committed to that role. The reason they're reinforcing those walls is because you can place some really nice cades down below. I'm sure that's probably what's going on here, and those cades are really hard to get, even though technically Thatcher's in play. He's not being brought, so they're really hard to get, and it might be a pain for the hard destructors. We'll see. The Maverick will be able to chew it if it's necessary, but it all depends on how DZ chooses to address this bomb site.
They'll likely start on that top floor, the third floor, and then take the cocktail area and push down. The two obstacles will be both Foxay and Slash. Vertical's in there as well, actually. Didn't see his icon right at the start. The Warden will be playing back inside a cocktail. Fox has a rotate to help Vertical if required in that back bar. DZ have already entered over by red as well and now have a freer access to piano. Ticket, as he referred to that spot as.
It's just like one of the micro spots in piano. Yeah.
Two drones scoot on by, and Slash's position will be known now as he fired away and wasn't able to hit anybody from DarkZero. He's going to play behind this deployable shield, and if there's any ADSs in the way, which I would assume there are since Vertical is playing in the back bar and likely has some tools nearby, then that means that Slash will be in a pretty strong spot and he'll be able to burn through some of those projectiles from DZ.
Slash has got the 1.5 to challenge this long angle. West repel, or sorry, pardon me, East repel for DZ was a factor there, but they've gotten off of it. DarkZero seems to be encircling these top floor roamers. There are 3 of them. And clearly the focus right now is for the top floor, but they are shifting a little bit down into train now that they know that dining is sparsely defended. There is potential for an execution exclusively into dining where the attackers on the, or rather the defenders on the top floor are unable to influence the outcome of the round. But that potential dwindles as you lose players like that. Slash inside of pillars will get 1, and he'll continue to contest this after he dropped knowing the attack was rotating. Foxay will be refragged on by Skies. That's great. So DZ are still in this round, but the presence of Slash and pillars could be their undoing in the end.
And I don't think they know that Slash is now posted up. I mean, they're very obviously looking for him, but he's going to do some damage before they drag him down, just as Vertical will disguise. And once again, OXG takes that advantage. Mint playing around as best as he can on the west side of that second floor, cannot land his shots. So for now, Slash's best job on the board is the clock. Yeah, he got an early pick, but he's wasting so much time and presents a formidable opponent that DZ will have to cut through before they'll be able to pressure the bomb site. Hot and Cold sustaining some damage, and DZ have lost control of the tempo of this round, so Eclipse will have to drop. He manages to get 1, but OXG dominates the kill feed and will finish it off with Bio's hands as Eclipse is down for the count. 2 in a row from Oxygen. They're beginning to close this one. There's still 2 rounds remaining for DZ to be able to push this one over, but OT is looking more and more likely the longer we go on.
Interesting. Okay, so DarkZero attempted to clear top floor. Someone made a shot call. Let's not bother with it. So DarkZero rotates downstairs. But Oxygen catches that rotation and forces some defenders on the top floor down to confront the rotation from DZ. The confrontation sways to the favor of Oxygen. More importantly, Pillars control, maintained by Oxygen, prevents DZ from getting Pillars control and thus pushing into reading, or at least cutting off the reading defenders who would deny a push in through dining. So, to be clear, a good call by DZ, not swiftly enough executed. Oxygen reading that call, the rotation off top floor perfectly, and specifically Slash holding control of Pillars. That was huge. Also, Vertical picked up a 3-piece. So, you know, credit where credit's due. We didn't actually see where it happened, but he was the one picking up the frags and solidifying the round. No matter what, though, good reading from Oxygen. DarkZero. Need to see them change some things up as they now attempt an attack on the top floor.
Interesting bomb site. I mean, that's what happens when you finish this rotation. The only other bomb site that was available for OXG, obviously, was that mining and dining bomb site, as we refer to it as. Cocktail has seen quite a bit of play in this matchup. This is the 4th time that we've seen the bomb site so far, which is not anywhere near as common in other matchups. So I don't know if things are changing. I don't know if Warden has allowed teams to play it differently. I don't know if the setup inside a bathroom with the deployable shield has made it a little bit more viable for the defenders. We've seen Goyos play in that spot. We've seen Mutes play off of that spot, Wamais and Warden in particular. So who knows? Things could be steadily changing. And even though we are in that utility soak meta where the defenders bring lots of bulletproof gadgets that the attackers need to respond with by doubling, tripling, quadrupling up on explosives, there is still some chances that we could see the meta slowly shift maybe towards other operators, and Warden's still good for utility soaks. That's why we've seen his pick rate continue to go up. Obviously, Warden is absent here, but you've got plenty of utility soak from all the operators on the board.
Roam clear attempted downstairs. Foxay, the roamer, will be droned out, called out. His retreat down to brown stairs will be caught, but he will not die. That is a poor cutoff there, I believe, by Mint. Still potential to cut him off, though, as he's just inside of coat check. So it looks like DZ wants to confront this. Mint will be doing so directly. Sky's there to assist, and there he is. Finally finished off with Hot and Cold, the 3rd player to try and hunt down Foxay. So job done. Men count lead established. DarkZero firm control, but at the expense of top floor pressure. As you can see, DarkZero has yet to actually take control of top red or cigar. There's only a minute left in this round. Laxing will even drop on Disguise, making matters worse for DarkZero. There might be a refrag in play here, but Laxing is continuing to waste time, so it might be all for naught if DarkZero doesn't shift their focus to the site.
Laxing was in a position where both Mint and Hyper were going to engage at different times, which could have served Laxing quite well. There goes a Goyo shield, and Mint taken down as it explodes right in front of Hot and Cold's very eyes. The fire will spread, and more time being eaten up now by Oxygen, who have really tightened things up. You're still within the play of winning this one. Bio finds his 2nd kill. The Nomad sprints on in. Bio's 3rd kill is there. He's still in play. He continued to do good work, and look at that. The moment that Bio comes alive for this team, the fortunes of OXG begin to rise very quickly. Eclipse, only 15 seconds left. Tough prospect. He takes down Biologic. He knows he's got another one over by Cocktail of the Goyo, so he rushes on in, but he pops up at the wrong time, and Slash finishes him off. A perfect cycle for OXG, and we're in round 12 to settle this one.
Well, unexpected comeback here from Oxygen. They looked a little bit asleep for a while there, but they are proving their worth, and as you mentioned, Biologic in particular really coming alive in this map. It's great to see from him. We needed to see that kind of performance, and as you said, has changed the fortunes of Oxygen as a whole. That last round mostly comes down to what I was talking about in the middle of the round. DarkZero put so much effort and focus into hunting Foxay downstairs that they lost out on everything else that they're supposed to do to address a top floor defense. There were 3 or 4 people hunting Foxay. They spent 2 minutes doing it. And ultimately, it didn't really matter because the Malusi dropped from top floor and managed to get Skies, bringing the man count even. And then, to add insult to injury, they couldn't get the Malusi, who lingered inside of reading. So, DarkZero struggling, that's for sure, with the roam clear, and more importantly, not having enough time or commitment on the actual take into the site. Now it's going to a kitchen defense for what could be still the final round of the series, or could be what launches us into an overtime, or maybe even a map 3.
Clubhouse, that would be an interesting one.
It certainly would be.
We'll see if we get there. I don't know if we will. I mean, it's a bit of a different situation than we were in on map number 1, where it was DZ in pretty firm control, and they were much better on the second half. Now it's been OXGs, and I feel like I jinxed it with the caster curse, Michael. I said that Well, it kind of looks like OXG are just ready to get this one done. You know, after the rehost, they didn't really seem like they were trying all that much, and now they've been trying pretty damn hard, and it's working out very effectively. And, well, Slash almost forfeits his life. Manages to get back into the bomb site. As you can see from OXG, there's no dock on the board, so Slash is going to stay at that HP. A later setup, as teams like to do on this kitchen bomb site, because there's two different ways that we see attackers go at it. They can either attempt to push in through bakery, which is where DZ seems quite focused on, or they can go through freezer and the back part of the map, including over by the doorway to kitchen that's right next to Whiskey. DZ's focus is entirely on the front. Now, here's a problem for them. If there's a man that's going to take advantage of you not having proper flank watch, it's Laxing. Clips is Nomad, so you've got some built-in flank watch, but in the middle of an execute, Laxing can show up out of nowhere and punish you, and he seems very poised to do so over in coat check.
He's got the angle through the wall that he's extending now as much as he can with that Roni, but he'll actually rotate as Slash gets downed deep by bunker, it seems, on a long angle play through the breach. It's a great down, but Slash should be recovered, so not the end of the world for Oxygen, though it could be the beginning of the end in this series. No kills yet for either team. Patience here for DarkZero. They get the information they need. They now know that there is no one inside of the A bomb site. Most importantly, the only indirect denial of a plant right now for the defense is the C4. And the direct denial that Oxygen has set up above 2 roamers on the top floor with holes, able to deny the plant. So as we get closer to the end of this round, things are getting more dangerous for DZ since they haven't cleared out that top floor presence.
Slash had been picked back up. He's still got the Nitro cell, and, well, there he goes. He crosses in front of Hyper and only takes a single bullet from Hyper to be able to fell him. So far, DZ have all but one opening pick on their attack. They'll find a second pick. Biologic now in the line of sight. Foxay taking some damage. Hot and Cold going for the plant. 20 seconds left. OXG will have to stop this. But they're standing pat for now. They don't seem to know, and Hot and Cold's going to get away with murder as the diffuser goes down. Clock will start to tick on OXG, will have to retake, but they're finding themselves in the line of sight as Oxygen now losing HP from Laxing. There goes Biologic. It's Foxay and Laxing yet again. They've been so good together, and Laxing will start things off. But no, Foxay punished from the back. Mint finds that kill, and it's Laxing in a 1v4. He'll get shot from the side. No coverage all the way down. 2 brown bar, and Skies will give DZ the win. 2 maps to nothing.
An impressive feat there for DarkZero, taking it quite handedly, but it was a valiant effort put up by Oxygen, that's for sure. However, DarkZero secure first place in the US